justification. The first statement here, you mentioned that residential buildings in Plateau State consistently exhibit spatial and functional weaknesses that limit their capacity to support contemporary living. So you've already mentioned that this is lacking totally. I perceive that you meant there's no those flexible design approach has not been applied in those buildings. You go to objectives 2 and 3. The 2 says to which flexible design features are incorporated into residential buildings. If those existing residential buildings don't have flexible design features, then what are you examining? How do you identify any flexible features in those buildings? Will you go to identify those things where there is none? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Because in your background justification, you clearly mentioned that those features don't exist in the residential building. You understand? Then your objectives here, you said that, okay, the research question here, to what extent will these residential buildings incorporate flexible design features? You can't really probe this question where there is none. You particularly said that those things are non-existent, and you're asking questions, to what extent are they existing? If there's anything, maybe you can clarify, maybe I missed something within your background and all this.
You said, I said it's already existing.
No, those buildings. Yeah, if possible, because she said in her background, you understand, your background statement, justification, and all this. Whereas in your objective research question here, or objectives, the research question you are asking, to what extent will these residential buildings incorporate flexible design features?
They are
or cross-sectional, and then you talk about the boundaries of your research in terms of the research area, so that there are different. You can go ahead to say scope and delimitation. So the delimitation is you defining the boundaries, trying to say that this is where you are not going to. So I think the third paragraph, you can remove it from there. Methodology specifically, you cannot really clearly say much about your methodology, and it's not the scope, it's not part of the scope. The same research you do, somebody can pick it and use different methodology and bring out answer, address the questions and other things. So I don't think it's, in my opinion, shouldn't be part of the kind of scope.
So can we say case studies for the areas we're looking at? That's why we haven't.
No, don't be in a hurry. Just look at it as your subject, you understand? And then the time frame. Maybe you can say longitudinal or cross-sectional research. So then generally, you should try to look at the way you write, the use of words. You understand? Otherwise, you find yourself contradicting yourself somewhere. When you write here and then you go to another section, you find yourself contradicting yourself. There are some keywords that you. say limited by, okay, in the scope. You say this research is limited by this. You don't use the word limited. You understand? This. You don't use the word limited. You understand? Let me go to that place. Let me go to that place and then specifically. Okay, the first sentence, if you look at it in your right of you say this study is limited to assessing. You understand? You understand? When you talk about, you don't try to avoid use of these words. Some words that are research based and all these things, they can cause ambiguity when somebody is reading your work. So, um, I think, okay, then your name, when you put the CMSC, in bracket you put just, not in just. Is the location. That's the town or city. No matter. So I think that's.
Thank you very much, Dr. Musa. Professor
My comment is also going to be a general note. I think actually, I'm supposed to be one of the leaders. However, I'll make my comments based on some of the issues that have been raised, and then basically on the topic. My first comment is with respect to what you're showing us the scope. I can only see geographical scope. It's how to understand by scope. Your scope should be able to help us in totality about your research, the extent to which your research will reach, where you are not going to do that. Because I can raise issues about your study, but your scope will not let me know that, no, I'm not even supposed to raise that issue because your limits, you have a limit of your study. So here you just presented photographer workers. You have not said anything about scope of the study here. So you need to look at that. On your topic, if I may ask, what gap do you intend to close as far as this research is concerned? I'm trying to put the variables together to see how it flows. You have flexible design, you have optimized space efficiency, and then you said highlights for sustainable housing. What are these three things? I don't seem to understand. What is sustainable about flexible design? Okay, and then optimizing space for efficiency in residential buildings. These variables don't seem to be needed together to give a clear picture of what this study is all about. Looking at your title, I should be able to know what your aim is. I should be able to know specifically the problem which this study intends to solve. But I don't seem to find that in this topic. And again, why flexible design? Why are you assessing flexible design? That after the assessment, you want to now optimize space efficiency. How? So you need to look at this. You must understand clearly the problem. And then the variables that are related to the problem. Then you'll be able to now craft the topic clearly for you to be able to know the basic things that you need to do in order to achieve the study aim. I beg to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. We will now go over this way now that the leaders have gone. Professor Bishop.
Thank you very much. Yes, obviously the topic is in housing, and like everybody feels that is a specialist in housing. So we can easily get carried away on such an easy topic. Now, to me, the starting point is defining the flexibility. What do we mean by flexibility here in the housing? Because we know that people have been, when the family expands, people want to do their different interventions, and people are doing it. But again, maybe I should have started from this point. Are we talking about private owned houses, or are we talking about government houses? It wasn't mentioned, it wasn't specified, because there are two different categories. When it comes to private, perhaps economy would be one of the factors that will stand strongly, well, in public too. But it is still coming to the scope of study, defining exactly what you are doing. I didn't see any remark on what is the model of ownership. So I thought that is important in the work, and that one should come because somebody did a study and studied building in respect of security. And the person said he is studying campus buildings. And it was so well defined, nobody had doubt it was about campus buildings. So when we are talking about the interventions, I remember you made a remark, the candidate made a remark that we should have flexible, like the intervention should be such that like I imagine that structural walls should not be tempered with. We should have such arrangement that very minor intervention should be able, architectural intervention should be able to achieve whatever the changes are desired. So it would be also very necessary to determine what are the hypothetical interventions that we are trying to accommodate. Is it that we want to add rooms, or is it that we want to partition rooms, or is it that the interventions are in time? Let's say there is glaring and people do some screen protections, because I observe the interventions people do mostly in government places like universities. The designs are planted from other regions, and they don't pass this. Many times, people simply put zinc walls, sometimes forget to put like 2/3 of the windows, literally permanent. So I see that kind of intervention. But if it is about space, optimized space efficiency, so these interventions perhaps may not be a part of it. But these interventions, these are people, these are the interventions that I observe people do. So yes, sometimes they expand. So it should be very, it should be necessary if the study defines the scope this aspect. So I mentioned that the notion of flexibility, even at this stage, would have been very good. Yes, it is because of changing style of living. But what are we talking about? The house has a nominal lifespan, let's say 50 years. So 2 generations maybe. So yes, so we need to remember that what are the factors that change. Technology, because before people didn't have toilets in their houses, and then the houses are outdated. So we don't know yet what type of technology we will have in the nearest future. So we have to remember that these houses will have just flexibility to respond to the new lifestyle. I also observed on the slide 1.8, you put the map of Nigeria. It looks I still see a lot of potentials in this work, but I think the student, because the topic seems to be very easy, so it requires quite not, it needs to be taken seriously, and you need to study it very, to have some depth. That means there are a lot of, like, especially when it comes to literature review, we want to see really the gaps that you identify. I believe some literature review was already done because this is the part of requirement when you are submitting. So if you didn't do well, you have more work to do. It is just a proposal. The topic is as usual, working topic. It will be improving as time is going on. And yes, the issues of barrier will be independent and dependent. I think that's the starting point. If you puzzle that one and your title captures that, you'll be on a good. Your starting point will be very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. This is one of the wonderful things of coming to the seminar, and I think that those that do not come miss a whole lot. It's not just for the candidates, but I think it is for all of us because we get to see different perspectives. We notice that many people have made contributions, but we are all looking at it from a different standpoint. For this seminar, basically what we are looking at is the topic. That's the focus. Is your topic researchable, and then all the other things. And like Professor Ushote has said, there would have been a need for you to go beyond and come back. In other words, you must have done some form of literature review and so on and so forth. I just want to, as assessing flexible design approaches, for me, I still struggling with it. And let me tell you why. Flexible design approaches suggest something in the future, as opposed to user satisfaction, because you are presupposing that this thing that I'm doing is going to ensure that the user is satisfied with the particular product that's being offered. And that suggests futuristic, as opposed to user satisfaction, which refers to the current usage. It is when the person is in the house that he or she will now know. By calling it flexible, it's I don't know how to put it. I'm wondering how we're going to measure this. What are the indices of what is flexible and all? And I think that it's easier for us to measure it from the standpoint of the user than from the standpoint of the design. Because what is the thing that's going to make us determine the design being flexible is the user, I think, by the number of things. And I'm not saying you should go and say user satisfaction, but I think that you will find that all of us are struggling with that. So I'm thinking that one of the things we can help you with is how we will look at that. You will agree with me that flexible design is something futuristic. By you basically saying that, and how do you assess it if it's not by the user? What are the other indices that you're going to use? And that was why Prof was suggesting climate. Another thing that your work is yet to do is to enable us understand what you mean by residential design. Are you talking about contemporary? And that is why you are suggesting we should go to different geographical locations. And there's another question that Professor Nidia asked about sustainability. So there are some basic things that you need to define for us, and how you can possibly get that information is to do a little bit of reading on some studies, and then you can now ground what you're trying to say in the body of that. Now, if you go into your background of the study, here, you've read around some, and I want to commend the currency of your referencing, by the way. But there also would have not been anything wrong at this point talking about some of the older, maybe the last 10 years studies, and there's usually a defining study so that we can look at your work, if you will, in that context. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The authority in
The authority in this area, because we need to be able to place your work in a place that we can now radiate from. But right now, I am not recognizing, I'm not a housing expert, let me now say that. But I believe Professor, even they are here. I don't see any name that rings a bell for me. Do you understand what I'm saying? For housing, I've not seen any name that rings a bell. I know that many times when people talk about, particularly on the plateau, there's a work that was done, I think it was 2011 before, and when was that?
Professor Odua was into housing. He had a couple of publications.
Yes, blessed memory to that. So there are certain names that when you hear them, but I'm not seeing those. So those are some areas that you to look at. So you need to define what you mean by residential housing. Are you talking about contemporary? Are you talking about traditional? Are you talking about what? It's not very clear. Which takes us back to what Professor Nina talked about the scope. These are the things that will help us make a mental picture and help you develop a mind map as to how to approach your work. I think that is a very good start. I was talking around that. And then your theories, jump to your theoretical framework because of time. These theories, again, while they're interesting, basically, there should be one underlying theory that we all know has to do with housing. I'm not saying that not many people are doing housing these days. I hate because there are some basic theories that stand the test of time. Then, the last thing I want to say, because most every other thing has been said by the readers who have done a very comprehensive work. Your operational definition of terms. Operational means the terms that have to do specifically with your work. And I am not seeing this just look like basic architectural definitions here. So you need to put them in the context. You understand? Otherwise, everybody knows what is space efficiency. Unless it has a specific meaning, it takes on a different meaning in the world. That's what it is. Or you can retain them and just call them key definition of terms. You're going with a conceptual framework and or a theoretical framework. I think you have to just sit with your supervisors and determine what you're going to do that way. And last but not the least, visit your justification. I think that if you're able to come up with a strong justification, it will to help you. I'm not seeing that there. But I want to end by saying that before I give your supervisors an opportunity to say something, I must commend you. 2025 has been a remarkable year for you, and for you to end the year with this kind of presentation is very encouraging. It shows resilience and a lot of promise, and I'm looking forward to seeing, and I think I speak for everybody here, looking forward to seeing even more work from you in 2026 by the grace of God.
Amen.
So this is a good one, and I will let your supervisor respond.
Sorry, sir.
The quick one before this one. I just come through referencing
Yes.
when you mentioned.
Yes.
I think the candidate needs to look at this literature very well to identify one problem. It's like you are trying to force flexible design into the residential thing, but you are not understanding where the problem is. The currency of your literature, as you mentioned, that's what the literature I was looking at. Going through them one after another. Take your time, look at this literature, read them, and identify where the problem is. And if that problem is related to the residential space, what kind of residential space? Not just, I can assure you, you will come up with something that would have a better impact in housing. Looking at some of the literatures here, try to go back to them and pick out something out of it. Then a quick one and a general note, please, your conceptual framework. Yeah. In graphics, every line speaks. Every arrow is making a statement. Now, from contextual factors, it moves to flexible design. It means it has nothing to do with space efficiency. Is that what you're telling us? If no, then something is wrong with this conceptual framework. This arrow is telling us how your study is flowing. The only meeting point between space efficiency and flexible design approach is yes. So if that is not what you are telling us, please look at this, and then this you have a clarity on this when you have actually studied this literature and identified a clear problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Bishop.
Yes, I still ask for your audience. This is about AI. There are many tools, AI tools for research that can make the student work easy, as long as the student doesn't plagiarize in the sense that you should not ask AI to write thesis for you. That is ethically completely out of the question, and that one will definitely be reviewed in the process. It will be reviewed because it can easily be detected. But if you have your references, that is, you have your journal articles, they are AI tools. Some of them are even free. I have some couple of names. This is not what I listen to. I listen to some beautiful videos and I did handwritten notes, which are intended to teach my students in class. But then I came across a couple of them that are even free. But some will allow you to do certain degree, and then you need to pay. But then, if it is justified, you may decide to even pay. So there's Elicit, Concestos, Side, Research Rabbit. So some of them are free. So people upload the literature and ask for specific gaps. They understand? Gaps can be some certain research aspect of the work can be used, can be done using AI tools. So I want us to look at AI tools as a department. These students that we are taking, how we take them through some of these things. So at least that group will be able to explore it further when it comes to their own research. But also, the students that are on ground, you may need to go back and catch up, listen to some YouTube videos, educate yourself, because this is what the researchers are using. You want to go and publish, others are publishing, they have perfectly identified research path, and you are struggling because as a human being, we have limitations. Computer will scale through and bring this gap. You go, you use your own language to explain it. And if you didn't get the result, and that's not what you are doing, that means you need to up your skills, IT skills, and learn how to put your question to forward your question, so the answer will come correctly. So that's what I want to mention. So future is now. There's no going back. And before you finish, my students will come and they will be competing with you. They'll finish faster than you. Just say, because we are going to teach them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. And Dr. Alton.
I want to find out, when we say proposal, at the proposal level, we're supposed to have literature. And you know that it's only when you are able to have comprehensive literature that you can actually come up and establish a gap. So proposal is supposed to actually go beyond just chapter 1 that you have done now. It's supposed to even go telling us what methodology you intend. Yes, that's where it gets to. So as a department, we have to look at it. When we say proposal, if we are saying topic defense, maybe, but what we have here, it's supposed to actually go beyond this. Assuming that you have done literature.
Sorry, point of information. PG school doesn't actually, you are right. Ideally, that is what it is, but basically, what they ask is limited to chapter 1. I know that was what we were informed. You are absolutely correct. You should go beyond that. But that doesn't stop a candidate from reading beyond to make the work more robust. But within the scope of our PG guidelines, the student's submission is in order.
Okay, but if she has done that, it would have, maybe she would have been able to issue of that particular one.
You're right. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much. On that note, we are going to ask the. Oh.
I'm very fine.
I don't remember the other co-supervisors. On that note, we are going to ask the. Okay.
Well, no problem.
Okay.
No, he.
Please, we will allow the main supervisor to make. Sorry, can we allow the main supervisor to make the comments, and then I will hand over to the PhD coordinator. This is the main supervisor seated here. You will, but I'm handing over to you, and then you are going to. Or you want to